Your creations are being blocked by something Joe Dispenza never talks about: frequency interference. Now, think about it like this: you're doing everything right, the meditations, the mental rehearsals, the emotional rehearsals, but your results are either inconsistent or non existent. Well, that's because there's an energetic block in your body that's literally cancelling out your frequency. And so today, I'm going to show you exactly what this hidden block is and how to clear it so your manifestations can actually finally break through into your physical reality. But if you're thinking, oh my God, great, another manifestation video telling me that I'm doing something wrong, I get it. But stick with me, because this isn't about adding another technique to your spiritual to-do list, but this is about removing the one thing that may be hindering everything else that you're doing. But first, let me ask you something. Have you ever noticed how some people seem to manifest effortlessly while others who are doing all the right things still are hitting invisible walls? It's like having a phone that's fully charged but has no signal. The power is there, but the connection isn't happening. And that's exactly what's happening with your manifestations. Now, I have spent years studying this, working with my clients, and actually experiencing it myself. And there was one particular instance when I was in 6 figures worth of debt. That wasn't just a financial crisis, it was a frequency crisis. And what I discovered during that rock bottom moment changed everything, and I want to share it with you. So let's talk about what's really happening when you manifest. When you manifest, your body is literally broadcasting, it's literally a broadcasting station. So you are constantly emitting electromagnetic signals through your thoughts and emotions and your state of being. Now, Joe Dispenza talks about this all the time, how your thoughts create your reality. But what he doesn't emphasize enough is frequency interference. Think about it like this. Imagine you've been trying to tune into a radio station. You've got the right frequency, but there's a bit of static. The static is frequency interference. And in your body, it comes from one primary source, your nervous system. Okay? When your nervous system is dysregulated, when you're stuck in fight or flight mode, survival mode, it creates an electromagnetic field that literally cancels out your manifestation. It's like trying to broadcast abundance while your body is screaming, danger, danger. Okay? These are opposing frequencies, and physicists call this destructive interference, where two waves cancel each other out. It's like incoherent waves. And I remember working with a client, Jessica. Jessica was doing everything right, meditating twice a day, visualizing, gratitude journals, the whole spiritual package. But nothing was changing in her reality. Now, when she started working with me, we looked deeper, and we discovered her nervous system was shocked. It was locked into a trauma response from childhood experiences. Her conscious mind was saying, I am abundant. But her nervous system was like, danger, danger, I'm in danger, right? Is this clicking? Guess which signal was stronger? Well, the one that's been running for 30 years plus in her nervous system, right? This is why so many manifestation techniques fail. And it's not because that they don't work, but it's because they're being sabotaged by a more powerful frequency coming from your own body. And now you're probably thinking, oh my God, great, so I'm doomed because of my past trauma. No. But we need to understand how these blocks form in the first place. Because every time you experience something traumatic, and I don't just mean like the big T trauma, like accidents or abuse. Yeah, you know what I mean? I'm talking about some small trauma too, like being embarrassed in school, rejected from someone you fancy. Those types of stuff create an energetic imprint in your body. Now, these imprints get stored in your tissues, your fascia, even your cells. So your body literally becomes a storage unit for unprocessed emotional experiences. Now, here's the wildest part. These stored emotions create their own frequency. They are like little radio transmitters in your body, constantly broadcasting the past into your present reality. So now when you sit down to do a technique or a manifestation ritual, trying to manifest abundance, part of your body is still vibrating at the frequency of that time when you were 5 and your parents fought about money or something. Or when you didn't have enough money to treat your date. You know what I mean? Or when you were 15 and you got rejected by your crush. Whatever it is. And I experienced this myself when I was trying to manifest my way out of debt. I kept visualizing financial freedom, but my body was locked into the trauma response from that debt. My nervous system was stuck in scarcity pattern that was literally canceling out my conscious intentions. Okay? It wasn't until I addressed these stored traumas that my manifestation started working. And that's what I'm going to show you how to do today. But that's also the purpose of Dr. Joe's breath, the breath work. Now, it's not just your internal environment that creates interference, but your external environment plays a massive role too. I want you to look around right now, right? Everything in your physical space is literally emitting a frequency. The people you spend time with, the media you consume on social media or YouTube, whatever, even the objects of your home, they all have an energetic signature that is either amplifying or interfering with your frequency. This is something that I learned the hard way. I was doing all the work. I was still living at home, filled with reminders of my debts and struggles. Bills on the table, a workspace that felt cramped and lacking. My physical environment was literally broadcasting not enough, while I was trying to manifest my way out of debt. Think about it like this. You wouldn't expect a precision radio telescope to work properly next to a power plant, right? Yet we expect our bodies to maintain perfect manifestation frequencies while being bombarded by environmental interference. But here's where it gets interesting. Sometimes the block isn't coming from trauma or your environment. Sometimes it's coming from your higher self, your greater self. And I know it sounds like spiritual bypassing, but if you didn't get what you want, then it must be your higher self protecting you, okay? You gotta hear me out on this because this is interesting. Your higher self, your, whatever you want to call it, your soul, your oversoul, has a much broader perspective than your ego mind, our ego mind. And it has that bird's eye view. And so sometimes when you're trying to manifest that isn't actually aligned with your soul's evolution, it protects you from that. And I see this all the time with people, clients trying to attract a specific person. You know what I mean? Someone is desperately trying to manifest a relationship with a specific person, doing all the techniques perfectly, but it's not happening. Well, why? Because their higher self knows that that relationship they want to try to attract would actually delay their evolution, or 2, lead them away from their true path or their soul's purpose. And I experienced this myself when I was trying to create a specific business partnership. I was doing everything, visualizing, emotional rehearsal, taking aligned action, but it kept falling through. And it kept falling through in the craziest ways. It wasn't until later that I realized that that person that I wanted to partner up with was actually so toxic, fake person. In other news, the reason I was in 6 figures worth of debt was because I partnered with a narcissist. And so please let me be the example that if you don't follow the signs or your intuition of the higher realms, they will respect your free will and it will delay your evolution. So I am my learned lesson this time, and am grateful for my higher self was actually blocking the manifestation to protect me. Otherwise, I would have repeated that same pattern if I got into that partnership with this person. It doesn't mean you should give up on your desires, but it does mean that you should be paying attention to the resistance. Because sometimes the block isn't something to overcome, but it's something to listen to. Just ask yourself simply, is this desire coming from my ego or from my soul? Is it aligned with my highest evolution? That simple question. And if you're honest with yourself, you'll know the answer. And sometimes, letting go of the manifestation is the most powerful thing you can do. But let's bring this back to your nervous system, because this is where the rubber meets the road. Your nervous system has 2 primary states, okay? The sympathetic, which is the fight or flight, and the parasympathetic, which is rest and digestion. When you're in sympathetic activation, you're stressed out, anxious, worried, your body is literally incapable of maintaining the frequency required for manifestation. This is purely biology. When you're in survival mode, your body diverts energy away from non-essential functions. And guess what your body considers as non-essential when it thinks you're in danger? Your creative centers, right? From fourth and above, your manifestation abilities. It's similar to trying to download a file while your computer is running a virus scan. All your bandwidth is being used for protection, not creation. Dr. Joe also talks about this when he discusses getting beyond the analytical mind. But what he doesn't emphasize enough is that you can't just think your way out of your nervous system. Your body needs to feel safe at a physiological level. And I remember when I was at my lowest point financially, when I was in debt, I was trying to manifest money, but my body was in constant fight or flight from the stress of my debt, the struggles. My cortisol levels were through the roof, right? My heart was incoherent. My nervous system was broadcasting danger 24/7, literally as soon as I woke up. No amount of positive thinking could override that biological signal. So I had to regulate my nervous system first before my manifestations could take hold. Okay? Regulate your nervous system first. And there you have it. The hidden block that Joe doesn't talk about, or how to clear it. So your manifestations aren't failing because you're doing something wrong. They're just being interfered with by frequencies in your nervous system, your environment, and sometimes even your higher self as well. And so by identifying and clearing these blocks, you create coherence between your conscious intentions and your subconscious broadcasting. And that's when manifestation becomes effortless. And so if you found this helpful, please hit that subscribe button and a notification bell so you don't miss my next videos. And if you want to work with me directly to identify any specific blocks, then click on the link below. And remember, you're not broken. You're not doing anything wrong. You just had interference on the line. And so clear that static and watch how quickly your reality transforms.